There's always more to be found. Well, welcome to Finding America. It is really great to see you here. Now, I know you've heard me say this before, but never be a one and doneer. If you have a great producing permission and you have long-term access to it, try switching it up a little bit. Use a different coil, a different program, go there after it rains and the ground is nice and wet, or just try hunting it from a different direction. Instead of east-west, try hunting it north-south this time. Well, this episode is a great example of this. I went back to that amazing yard that I first featured in a video called Find After Find. I found so much there using my 11-inch stock coil on my Equinox 800, and I kept at it until the finds began to get scarce. So this past weekend, I put the 6-inch coil that I got from our friends at Calico onto my Minelab Equinox 800, and I hit that yard again. And I started pulling find after find. I have to say there were a lot of gems still hiding in that ground, and I really hope you enjoy watching this one. Back down again, digging another signal. This one was giving me a 19 and up to a 21 on the Equinox, and I cleaned it up, and it's another early weedy. This one's going to be a 1920. Well, I just got a nice 24-25 high tone. Got some gravel mixed into the dirt here, but I popped the plug and check out what is sticking out of the plug here. Pretty cool. Half of a compact. Ooh, yeah, cool. It's a nice design, and oh, that's awesome. You can see the shield in the center with the information on it. Let's see. It's an old Avon. Wow, that is awesome. Yeah, that's going to be pretty old too. So, get that cleaned up later, give you a better look at it, but that's a nice little find right there. Well, this one was giving me a pretty nice high tone, and popped the plug, and look how that came out. Got an old spoon. Let's see what it looks. Yeah, that's pretty cool actually. Look at the sort of the space age design, all stars on it. That's going to be 50s or 60s. That's pretty cool. I like that. So, neat little find. I'll tell you, this is pretty cool. I was getting an 11-12 signal, and I saw it, and I thought it might be a writing pen, and it is. It's an old one too. Check out that cool design. But it does have a little bit of advertising of some sort on it. It says HT phosphate. So, kind of different, and definitely old. I'm not sure exactly how old. 50s, 60s, somewhere in there. Could be a little bit older. But just a really unusual piece. Well, since the last time I was here, they took out these huge bushes, and now I've got some ground here that I hadn't hunted before, so I'm giving it a whirl, and I got a 12-13 signal, and check it out. I don't know what it is yet. Now, I found a lot of buffaloes and a lot of V-nickels here. This could just be a Jefferson, but I think I've got a Jefferson just peeking out of the ground right there. So I'm going to pop it here and see what it is. Yep, another Jefferson. But I'll take it, and I'll keep on going and see what else I can get here under these bushes. So I'm just working this side yard that I've worked quite a bit before. Of course, they cleared out these bushes, and I'm running the 6-inch coil for the first time on this property. I've been using the 11, and came back here. I'd hunted this place, but I got a nice little signal right here, a 13, and check what popped out. Recognized it right away. It's gonna be military. I haven't even turned it over yet. I've dug them before. Ooh, not like this though. This has a pin. This is an old one. Check it out. Cross cannons. That is awesome. That could be World War I era artillery. That is absolutely awesome. And to have the pin on it still, oh, that just made my day right there. That is a beauty. And I'll probably put this in apple cider vinegar and clean it up a little bit and get you a better look at it, but I am very stoked to find that. Well, I'm so thrilled to have found that piece. Now, those cross cannons were worn by the officers of the U.S. artillery, while the enlisted men wore the disc insignia on their collars. Artillery has been incredibly important to our U.S. military ever since the first shot was fired during the American Revolution. Now, those cannon were vastly improved by the time the Civil War came around, and they could actually fire an artillery shell an incredible 4,500 yards. Firing a shell that far away was definitely impressive, but just 50 years later, those howitzers serving during World War I could fire an artillery shell an incredible distance of 80 miles. In 1917, when the U.S. entered the fray of World War I, we had 8,000 artillerymen in service. Just 1 year later, that number increased to 460,000 artillerymen in service, and they ended up firing a mind-boggling 1.5 billion artillery shells during that war. Well, the war was finally declared over on November 11th, 1918, but the firing didn't quite stop. There was a strange competition that emerged among the U.S. Artillery Company to be the one that fired the very last shot of the war. They continued popping off their cannon until finally, the last shot of World War I was finally declared fired by the 11th Artillery Regiment, using one of their howitzers they affectionately named Calamity Jane. Well, still working the area with the 6-inch coil, just going really slow and getting quite a few signals. And this one was giving me a sort of a mid-high tone, but it was kind of reaching 27 at times, and I was hoping it was the deep silver dime. Well, it was pretty deep, about 7 inches, but it turned out to be something else, but it's pretty cool. This is one of the old square aluminum tokens. It's good for 10 cents off Palmolive shave cream. It's going to be from the 1930s, and the terms of the agreement are on this side. But pretty cool. They're usually in rough shape, but I'll get this one straightened out and cleaned up a little bit more so you can get a better look at it. But definitely a nice period find. Well, just working along here, I got a nice little high tone, and turned out to be a wheat penny. This one's going to be a 50 with the Philadelphia Mint mark. Well, this one was giving me a 10, and I finally got it all out. Looks like I got a good part of a necklace here. So, pretty cool little find right there. Unfortunately, it's not silver or gold, but just thought I'd show you that one. Oh, I got something interesting here. It was giving me like a 24, and I dug down, and I have no idea what this is. Some kind of a cap. It's kind of bizarre. And then it has this raised portion that goes all the way around, and it
It kind of glitters. Now I don't know, maybe this is like a cosmetic cap or something, but I'm going to get it cleaned up and get a better look at it. But it's pretty interesting, definitely an old piece.
Well, there was one part of that property that I've been holding back until I had the small coil on my machine, and that was the sidewalk strip in front of the house. Now, I had noticed the signals were everywhere on there, and I knew I really needed that small coil, and I knew that no one else had wanted to go through all that to hunt that sidewalk strip. But it's really important to do so. When you have an old producing yard, why in the world wouldn't you hunt the sidewalk strip in front, no matter how much trash you have to go through? And that 6-inch coil did an awesome job, and it definitely paid off.
I'm just poking around the front yard here with the 6-inch coil. I was hunting along the sidewalk strip here. Got a real nice high tone. I saw it sitting here, and I thought, clad quarter, you gotta be kidding me. I went really deep for it. But when I picked it up, and I started to wipe it off, it is not a clad quarter. I don't know if it's a foreign coin. I am not certain. Wow, it really looks cool. Wow, this one's got me stumped. I think it's a foreign coin. I can see a 10 right there. Let me get this cleaned up and I'll be right back. But pretty neat. Well, I'll tell you what, check this out. It is not a clad quarter. I think it's an old Japanese coin. How cool is that? And the other side has a denomination of 10. And it's just a little tough to make out right now, but I'll work on it with the Andre pencils. But that is a very cool coin and a really nice surprise to find in this old front yard. Well, I just had to show you this one. This one's giving me a 17. I'm just doing a little bit next to the sidewalk where I got that Japanese coin. And got this and I was like, whoa, check this out. But it looked like I had a little something here in the center, and then I flipped it over. And if you can see the design on that. Now what this is actually an insert on a manual window regulator handle. On a late 60s car. They would put these over the screw hole that mounted it to the door, and Ford and Lincoln and Mercury used these quite a bit in the late 60s. So pretty cool. Just I knew that one right away because I've restored enough old Fords. Well, I'm just working along this curb strip, and you can see the original stone curbs right here. That's what you want to look for. That way you know it's original ground, and you know it's a pretty old curb strip too. And this find also told me it was a pretty old one. Got a 21, about 5 inches down. This popped out, and that's a piece to the inner mechanism to a pocket watch. So very cool. It might have a maker's mark on it. When I get it cleaned up, hopefully it does, but oh, that does. It really does. I can see it already. Oh yeah, it's Bristol, Connecticut. I'm trying to remember the name of the company, but yeah, early 1900s, late 1800s on this one. So very cool. Happy to have that. Another thing about this curb strip that's kind of interesting is notice how the road is completely level with the top of the curb. Now, that's not how it was originally. It was probably a good 6-8 inches further down. I mean, these were real curbs when they first put them in, but they just kept paving over the road and paving, and now it's flush. So it's really something when you're looking for a good curve strip to hunt, this is a perfect kind. And this hole here was giving me a 17, and I knew it was down in the hole still, so I was kind of brushing the dirt around, and look what I saw when I brushed the dirt off of that. A marble, a red and white one. Oh yeah. Now the signal is right next to it, but I wanted to pop this first. Oh my good Lord, look at that. Oh baby. Oh, that is a beauty. Wow. And it's perfect. No chips that I can tell so far. Oh my gosh, that is gorgeous. Well, let me put that right there, and let me see if I can go ahead and find oops. One thing you don't want to do is start your pinpointer laying on top of your target. It'll just null out. Okay, let's see what was giving me this 17. It doesn't matter what it is, because I ended up getting something awesome out of the hole. Oh, look. Oh, I thought it was another marble. Well, I'll be darned. Look at this. That is a clay marble, but it was definitely not made very well. It's actually kind of egg-shaped, but that's an old clay marble. So that's interesting. And that was what was giving me my signal, square pull tab. But that's why I dig it all. You never know. Might be something else good in the hole. I definitely love getting those. Well, right there is where I got the two marbles. And right over here, I got a 12 signal dug down. And got a Jefferson now. I cleaned it up just a little bit to see what the date was. And it's a 1940. So, almost as deep as that marble was. So it might kind of give an age to that marble. 30s, 40s. So, definitely cool. And I always enjoy digging an early Jefferson. Well, I tell you, it's a chore digging it all on places like this. But as soon as I start finding old stuff, I'm going to do it. I just have to get through the garbage because the old stuff is all mixed in with it. So, just digging down here, getting a 2324, and I just popped it, and I just grabbed the camera, but it's the inner frame to probably a mantle clock. It's kind of weird, huh? Pocket watch parts, clock parts. I'm actually not very far from where I got that second half of that old padlock. I think that was just right about there. And one of the previous times I hunted this place, but that's pretty awesome. You can tell this strip has never been hunted, not when stuff like this is left there. So I'm gonna keep on going, and I'm gonna keep on digging every signal. Well, this one was giving me a nice 21-22, just a few inches down. Got myself a nice little wheat penny, and already cleaned it up a little bit. This one's going to be a 56 with the Denver Mint mark. That reminds me of my old Bel Air two-door hardtop. That was an awesome car. Yep, and here's the 22 signal. And this is what I'm looking for too. You know, just with the trash you find, you'll be able to see how old this is. And you know, this is an early National Distillery whiskey cap. And these are generally from the 30s and 40s, this particular style. So I'm happy to see this because I know there's old stuff in the ground. Well, this next thing was giving me a 22-23, and you can see the imprint down there. And I was working on cleaning it up to save some time, but it's a nice old weedy. It's a 1933. I don't usually find that date very often, so happy to have that one. cleared out a bottle cap here that was giving me a 1819, and that freed up another signal right next to it that was giving me a 16. And I've got something around, maybe interesting, I don't know. It kind of looks like a button, but holy cow, look at that thing. Wow, look at that. Oh, it's not a button. It's actually a jewelry pin. Look at that. Because that design, I was thinking flat button. But isn't that pretty? That is a really pretty little piece right there. So, I like that. And I'll get it cleaned up a little later, give you a better look at it. Well, this one was giving me a 16, and I dug down, and I think this is a part to an old pocket watch. Very thin, and pretty darn cool looking too. Well, my next thing was pretty darn cool. Was getting a 13, was hoping for a nickel, but I actually think this is kind of cooler. Check it out. I thought I had a gold one, but this is a collar stud that would have worn on the paper collars back in the early 1900s, late 1800s. So very cool. It does have a marking on it. It says back mark warranted. So that's a nice little find. Definitely like that. Well, still working the area with that small coil, and it's paying off now. Just digging a lot of clad and some Wheaties, but I isolated this one. I have to go really slow and kind of wiggle that thing back and forth and isolate each signal. There's so many here. But as you can see, I got some silver, and I think it's a Merc. I kind of looked down in the hole. Yep, that is a Mercury dime. I'm gonna get it sprayed down with some water here. See if I can see the date. It looks like it's 1941. Not too shabby. I will definitely take that. Well, I had to come back and show you a little bit more of this beautiful dime. It's actually in 1943, and look at the condition of this. It is absolutely full of luster. It's got full bands. It's amazing. It's a really pretty little dime. So, must have been lost when it was brand new.
Well, as always, that 6-inch coil really paid off. And once again, I left that amazing yard with a ton of great finds. And here's another look at all of those great finds all together. Whenever I'm hunting one of these old homes, I'm always wondering what life was like and what the people and families that lived in these homes were like back then. Now, I've got some amazing photos coming up right now that definitely give us a good idea. And remember, it's history that makes a find a treasure. And I can't wait to see you back here next week on Finding America.